July 2023 forecast, Astro Tarot podcast? I don't think so. Podcast for Libra. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you are a Libra Venus placement, Venus rules Libra, so that's nice. This will be more around love, relationships, that type of stuff. For the other signs, you know what they are. I won't cover exactly all of those. You should have several placements, so check out all of the ones that have to do with your sun, moon, rising, and Venus placements so you can get the most out of these. Just this month, I will cover kind of what the focus is and my beliefs around astrology and tarot. If you know the podcast, you know I do believe in the imaginal techniques. I believe that our imagination is God. It is literally what creates our reality. Our belief, our faith, our conviction, our persistence is what summons forth what we see on the screen of reality. So how does astrology and tarot and other divine arts fit into this? Basically, the way I look at it is like an energetic weather report. So this is something that you would look to for potential guidance or just kind of seeing where the energy is going to be at any given point in your life. And this is helpful if we allow it to be. It is not something that's going to be like condemning you to some future. If the energy seems wonky or there's some odd placements or some squares or oppositions, it doesn't mean you're going to have a shitty day. It doesn't mean you're going to have a shitty month or week or whatever. It's just something to be aware of. The more insight we can gain relative to what's going on energetically, that can help us navigate difficult situations or try to figure out auspicious times to plan a trip, get in a relationship, all of these things that maybe we don't have immediate access to consciously. So subconsciously, tarot and astrology are very good for getting underneath the surface and kind of truly understanding like where we are and why we are the way we are. So if it resonates for you, please take that and use it. I personally find astrology and tarot to be incredibly helpful in my own life. There were a couple people in the last reading for Virgo who are asking for personal readings. I do personal readings. You can find those on Instagram. I do flash readings over there. You can find me at Noah Lampert. You just got to kind of stay out for that. I at times will have slots open on my website, syncpodcast.com. You can book some things, but those aren't up right now. I'm focusing on this for the patrons. These will be simulcast on Twitch, YouTube, and kick.com. Go ahead and follow me on kick.com. I'm just getting that started over there. It's a decent place to do some stuff, but these will be archived there this month. I'm undecided if I will leave these up for future months. Patrons, you will always have access to these. The downloadable links will be posted on the Patreon shortly after these are recorded. But for this month, coming up, July 2023, you can find all of them for free. And if you're interested in anything else that's going on, you can check out the podcast Synchronicity, which I've been doing for holy geez, 9 years. It's been a while. There's a lot of stuff there that kind of goes into the more imaginal manifestation techniques, and something we're going to be focusing on a little bit more is not just manifesting, but sustaining manifestations, sustaining wholesale kind of changes in your life, and how to like lock that into place so we don't have to kind of like fall back after we do stuff. That's the spiel. Libra. You got some stuff going on in July 2023. I'll cover some of the astrological news that you can expect. So Venus, Sun, and Mercury will all be passing through Libra in 2023. Venus is the ruling planet of Libra, so that good old ooey gooey Venusian love will be present, and we like that. It's like an amplification of the energy that's already there. So as a Libra, and you probably know this, there are a few things that are quite important in your life. You do like beautiful things. You and Taurus are big beauty fans, right? Venus rules both of those planets, or signs rather, and it's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that. You also tend to have a keen affinity for fairness and justice, right? The scales that represent Libra You see them on every courthouse in the United States and all over the world. Fairness is something that's very important to you. And as an air sign, you can kind of get lost in the clouds at times, but not in a bad way, just in kind of a dreamy, mystical, mysterious, nice way. So everyone tends to like Libras. They get along with other people very well. And, there's really it's one of the nicest, coolest signs out there. The moon enters Libra, I believe, what is it, like the 30th? I think I didn't write it down, but I think I remember it enters Libra on the 30th of July. So at the end of the month, a day before the month ends, you should feel an amplification of your inner feelings kind of being pinged a little bit. And we'll talk about some of the astrological issues that may be coming up in July 2023. And we'll also look at the cards to get kind of a more focused, specific look at the energy you can expect. Okay, some things that are likely to occur in your life in July is you're probably going to meet some new people, right? And especially if you put yourself in positions to make new connections and meet some new people, don't be surprised if some of those connections turn out to be pretty powerful. What's going on, Plan Alpha? How you doing? Keep an eye out for any new connections you may be meeting. These could be powerful helpers and allies on your path. So anyone new who comes into your life, just like Hallmark, maybe this is a person. Also, there may be some obstacles going on, and this has to do with Cancer's influence on your chart, and it can be a little bit tough. There will be some kind of we spoke about it a little bit with Virgo, but there could be some ebbs. There could be some things preventing you from really kind of locking in that wonderful feeling that we want as Libras to kind of feel good and feel harmonious. But on the same token, there might be some conflict resolution going on. And just remember that as we're resolving conflicts, we are going to be dealing with conflict. So just don't get too caught up. Don't get lost in the sauce. There could be multiple things going on. You also have Mars leaving Leo here for you. And that could also cause some imbalances just in terms of energy and emotions. So it's a bit of an up and down month for you, Libra, but like I said, you have Venus, Sun, and Mercury all moving through your sign, and that's a lot of positive energy. Mercury, obviously the planet of communication, intelligence, consuming, and parsing out information. So and as an air sign, Mercury rules Gemini, but there is a lot of mental activity going on, right? Another thing, this as a Libra, you're fairly diplomatic, right? You may be the mediator. You may be someone who your friends and family look to kind of resolve things because you're pretty open-minded and can hear everyone's opinion and synthesize it in a way that makes not only sense to you, but to other people. So we're really looking for balance this month in July, and any obstacles that do come your way, use your charm and your grace to kind of move through those. Try not to get too down on yourself. If things get a little bit wonky at any given point, you should be fine. And also be willing to focus on beauty and creativity in July. That is something that's very important to you, whether you know it or not. So look for the beautiful things. Surround yourself with beautiful things. Surround yourself with harmonious things that are going to make you feel at ease and kind of make your heart feel good. This is something that every Libra wants to feel. So, it's going to be a pretty nice month for you, but there may be some challenges coming up. And let's take a look at the cards and see what's going on. These have been shuffled, but we like to give it a nice shuffle also at the beginning for this. You can see the cards I will be putting up here. Hello, that's my hand. They will pop up here. I also mentioned this. I ordered a new 1080p camera. This, for whatever reason, Apple puts a 720p, 10-year-old technology in their MacBook Pros. It's an amazing, awesome computer. It's super souped up, but the camera is shit. So you'll be able to see my double chin in HD. Now, I'm it should be gone hopefully next month. I had to go on a little diet. Wasn't treating the body too good. So let's pull some cards and see what's going on. Oh, geez Louise. Way to get it started. The Sun. Here we go. 10 of Cups reversed. and the moon upright. Cool. And this is like kind of what I was alluding to. And we got the sun and the moon, right? That's pretty cool. Two of the luminaries, obviously, key positions and planets, and the sun obviously is in Libra for you. So if you have a Libra sun and you have a Libra moon, here we go. It's all there. So we start with the sun, right? This is innocence, joy, positivity, generosity, being open, being free. We see all four suits of the tarot there represented by the sunflowers. This is a very positive card. It means joy. It means happiness. And you're likely to experience quite a bit of that, along with beauty and just like all the good stuff that we want in life. So you can expect to have a lot of that in July. It's going to be a overwhelmingly positive month. But then we look here at the Ten of Cups, and this is kind of what I was alluding to in like some of the imbalance that may be going on. Ten of Cups upright is harmony. It's the house on the hill. It's represented by a loving family, just kind of celebrating and joy. So you can imagine what the reversal means. And it doesn't mean you're going to have the opposite of that. It's not really, reversals aren't that simplistic. But what it does mean is you may have some difficulty kind of tuning in to that vibratory frequency, right? There may be some obstacle that's kind of like pulling you back a little bit from really being able to experience like pure contentment and harmony. And this is okay. This is something that like we acknowledge, we look at, and we try to figure out, well, what's going on here? And it's not just the planetary positions, and it's not just the tarot cards saying this is going to happen. This is something that collectively a lot of people have been going through, but particularly for you, Libra, like this may be something that kind of is like a fly in the soup type energy, right? Lots of things are going to be going really well, but there may be this little fucking thing where it's like, ugh, do I really have to deal with that, right? This could be like a relationship that's going very, very well, but then maybe you get in a little fight or something and it kind of sours the mood, or just something like that. Or you started a new job, or your job that you've been in is going really well, but maybe you make a mistake, or maybe your boss is a dick to you, and it kind of just like tinges that. And the point here isn't that like overall it's bad or there's going to be something difficult. Plant Alpha, I will maybe do Scorpio tonight. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I might get to Scorpio later tonight. If I get my shit together, I will. I'd like to get it done so I'm not jammed up over the next few days for the last 5 signs, but we'll see. But again, going back to the Libra stuff, like it's not there to like vex you. It's not there to show you that, oh, you can't be happy or you can't enjoy the positive things in life. It's more like you're being shown an issue that you really need to work on to experience this overall happiness. And the moon gives us a sign here of what that kind of obstacle or threshold guardian, whatever you want to refer to it, is about. And this is your emotional balance. And it's your ability to feel that everything is fair and in its right place. Everything in its right place. A little Radiohead for you. So your feelings and your emotions may be a little out of whack at any given point in the month of July. And again, this isn't to fuck your shit up. This is really just to remind you that like this is something that behooves you to work on, because as you resolve these deep kind of inner issues related to your emotions, related to the ability to feel joy and happiness in whatever situation you're searching that for, is something you just kind of want to address and acknowledge. You have an amazing capacity to see things from multiple perspectives. You very likely have a quick mind. You have the ability to dream things into existence, to see the beauty in all around you, and try to apply that for whatever situation in your life isn't maybe as harmonious as you'd like it to be, right? There is going to be resolution of conflicts here. This isn't conflicts coming up to like mess you up. It's conflicts coming up so you can resolve them. And that's something you're going to want to kind of draw on all your skills as a Libra to kind of like get through. And that's what a lot of this month is going to be for you. It's about being diplomatic. It's about seeing things from other people's perspectives. The more you can place yourself in other people's shoes and understand what they're going through, the easier it is going to be for you to kind of work through some of these conflicts. And as you do that, your ability to feel peace, joy, harmony, love will go up exponentially. So there's a lot of like really good possibilities here for you to work through that. But I just want to be clear, like, there will be some things coming up that maybe aren't the most fun for you. But the key, again, is to not get so sucked into that it shapes and colors the rest of your experiences. It will be diminished relative to the good things that are going on, but it does require you to have an open mind and to really like not just sit with the feelings that are maybe challenging, but really try to get to the root of what those are. Right. And this feels like, just to be clear, especially if your Venus placements here, it feels like this is a lot of intrapersonal work. Right. This feels like relationship stuff. It feels like maybe people at your work. It feels like maybe even family. Like those issues will be coming to the surface in July. And again, it's your ability to kind of feel grounded and stable, where then everything fits into that nice, neat kind of justice and fairness paradigm that is really important to you. So, your emotions are going to be a key signal for like your overall vibe for the month of July. It's not bad. We like the sun and moon very much to come up this early in a reading. So that's great. Okay, some speediness, right? Yeah, speediness. 8 of Wands. Oh, there it is. The Tower. Oh, geez. And the 10 of Swords. All right. This is a pretty, there's going to be some speed. There's going to be some action. There's going to be some movement. 8 of Wands is the classic card of movement. Also, as Wands representing the fire signs, this is very much related to your passions. This is something that's really important to you. So in the realm of beauty, expect it. Aesthetics are very important to Libras. You know what you like. You know the way you want it to be. And you very much want to see it through to get it to those places if they're not like that now. The Tower implies that there will be some type of cataclysmic change. Again, to me, this feels like intrapersonal change. So whether that's a relationship taking a drastic turn, it does not imply good or bad. I want to be very clear about that. It just means change is inevitable. Some foundation that you have been building will probably be shaken to the core. And that's a great opportunity to build up something new that's even more lovely, even more filled with joy. It's just something's going to collapse here. Something is going to go down, and see that as an opportunity to build something new that's wonderful up, rather than, oh, woe is me, my entire world is collapsing, chaos abounds. It's not really that, but there will be a drastic shift in some element of your life. Again, to me, I just keep getting pinged with this. It does feel like intrapersonal stuff, right? Relationships, partners, could be family, feels more like it could also be social group, right? That's what I'm hearing. So just acknowledge that when that change takes place, you're going to want to rely on your ability to remain diplomatic, right? Your ability to really look at things from other people's perspective. That's your superpower, right? Really also being able to synthesize and imagine your dreams, like bring those to fruition. One of the beautiful things about the Tower card is when it shows up is you have an opportunity to completely reinvent and build something new, which is great. We don't always get those opportunities. Sometimes we just have to stick with what's going on, and that's just the way it is. But the Tower gives us this opportunity to build something new. And then we have the 10 of Swords, right? 10 of Swords. No denying what this card means, right? Now, we can look at it literally, where this person is dead and they've been stabbed in the back with 10 swords. And there may be some of that. If you feel betrayed, if you feel that you have been taken advantage of, don't deny it, is what I'm saying. Don't look at it as though, don't like ostrich yourself. Don't stick your head in the sand and pretend that it didn't happen. That is not going to serve you, and it's certainly not going to serve anyone else you're involved with. You have to acknowledge when things haven't gone right, and you have to acknowledge when things aren't right for you. Because that gives you the opportunity. One of the things is we see the dawn, the clouds are lifting in the back. This is an end. This is a transition. This is something that also implies that there is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, but you do first have to get through this period of kind of betrayal, a rough situation, a situation that maybe is very painful for you to actually have to go through, but nevertheless is essential for your growth as a person, as a spiritual being, as someone who is able to kind of raise their awareness and consciousness for the benefit of yourself and everyone else. But this is going to be something that maybe is a little bit difficult for you to go through. I don't want to be too ominous here, and obviously there's potential. Everything contains the seeds of duality, so for every good thing, there's also some bad. For every bad thing, there's also some good. It's ultimately just a matter of perspective. But if this is like pinging you, if you kind of know what this is about, get ahead of it now. Right? Get ahead of it now. Mentally and emotionally prepare yourself. If you feel like there's something amiss, don't prod at it. Don't poke at it. Don't try to make the thing happen. It's naturally going to happen. The tower is going to make it happen. But if you do feel there's something on the horizon and you kind of know who it involves or what it involves, acknowledge that. Spend a little bit of energy trying to figure out how you will navigate that emotionally. Again, keywords for this month for you are balance, right? You really want to be able to create balance, beauty, and harmony. Those are your 3 keywords for the month of July. And when we're dealing with difficult situations, the more open-minded you can be, the easier it will get and the more grace you can imbue into the situation. So yeah, it might be a little bit gnarly and you might feel a little kind of betrayed or offended or kind of like, how could they do this to me? Like, how dare they? Don't sit in that too long. It's not healthy. It's not going to help you, but also acknowledge that it happened or is happening or will happen. And again, I don't say this to condemn you. You may get through the month of July with absolutely nothing to do with this, but don't pretend that it's not happening if it is, because when we see the Ten of Swords following the Tower, it does imply that there is going to be some type of turning over and then inevitably a resurrection, but there is some type of death process that will be taking place, a shift in identity, a shift in personality, a shift in relationship. And again, this will probably be something that happens very quickly, right? That's what the Eight of Wands are telling us. And this is going to be something that you care about. It's not going to be some trivial matter that is really unimportant. It's related to your passions. That's what the Wands are there for. And just be aware as it happens, your ability to stay level-headed, open-minded is going to really help carry you through that particular situation. You got this, Libra. I know you got this, but just be aware that's a situation. You know what I mean? Let's keep it rolling. We love her. The High Priestess. 6 of Swords reversed. There's a transition for you. And the King of Wands reversed. Okay, so the High Priestess is helping us out here, right? The High Priestess, as related, I always compare her to the Magician. They're the counterparts in here. She sits back, right? She lets things come to her. It's feminine wisdom. It's creation. It's destruction, right? The white and the black there on the pillars. And that is how you navigate through things, right? It is allowing things to happen, not being kind of actively having to do things to allow kind of magical, mystical energy to enter your life. It's just it's not a passive card. I mean, it is in a sense that you're allowing things and you're receiving things, but it's also a very powerful kind of mystical, magical energy. And she's going to be helping you navigate these 2 things here, which is a transition. And it may not be the easiest of transitions, and that certainly could be related to that 10 of Swords in the previous 3-set combo. And that transition is going to be ultimately moving you to a better place. You will feel as that move is completed and comes to an end, or it gets to the tail end of that transition, you're going to feel a lot better. The actual transition itself may feel a little rocky. Right? Again, and we go back to this, balance is your friend. The more you can do to emotionally stabilize yourself, the better this transition will go, but it may not be the smoothest of rides. Just know the transition is taking place for the greater good, for you to get to a place that is much better for you and the people you care about. Okay. So as it's taking place, if it feels like it's a difficult thing, that's okay. It is for your benefit. You are not going through this because the universe is against you. It's because you're moving yourself to a better destination, right? We don't know what was going on and what can happen if you stayed in the old place, but this is a new thing that's going to be quite positive for you, truthfully, but it may not feel like that as you're going through it. And then the King of Wands, right? This is, again, related to passion and energy. And you might not have, this is like obstacles, right? You might not have the clearest sense of where you're headed in the month of July. You may feel pretty good overall, and you may feel like you're moving towards a greater and higher ground, but you may not have the clarity about where exactly it is that you're headed. And so if we're looking at this in the context of a relationship, it's like you can feel it changing. You can feel the aspects and the context of your relationship changing, but you don't know really where it's going to end up. And this also applies to career or jobs. Like, you know, a shift is taking place. You can feel it in your bones, but you don't really know where you're going to end up. That clarity and that ability to kind of gaze into the future is potentially a little bit clouded, right? It's not as clear as we would like it to be, especially when we're going through major shifts and transitions. And we know from 2023, this is the year of transformation. It's not the only year of transformation, but it's a big year of transformation. What that means is maybe things that have worked in the past really well for you are no longer working, or you've really squeezed every little last bit of juice out of that orange, or what I said orange, but whatever citrus fruit you like, you've really squeezed the last bit of juices out of it. And sometimes when we do that, we try to go back and see if we can get just a little bit more. Like, is there anything more to extract from that situation? And in this case, there's probably not. The well is dry, right? You can't go back to these old patterns. This certainly could have to do with trauma as well, past trauma, as you kind of get more insight into what has created trauma in your life. You then have the actual ability to deal with it in a healthy way. But I know it can be difficult, especially for you, Libra, like with, you want the clarity. You want a sense of justice and fairness to emanate and to be present in all situations. And when we can't see things as clearly as we would like to, it gets a little uncomfortable. And it can kind of start to feel like maybe things aren't working in our favor. That is not true. And I just want to reaffirm that all of these transitions, all of the things that you may be potentially facing in July are for your benefit. You will come out of these experiences stronger, more confident, more filled with joy, more capable of feeling and experiencing beauty around you. All the things that like really light you up as a person, those will be amplified. But sometimes we just have to go through this shit to get to those places. And in terms of like, if I were to give it a rating of like difficulty or like obstacleness, like we're probably looking at like a 6 out of 10. It's not like you're totally at the top of like, this is going to be the most hellish transition of all time, but it's also not kid stuff. It's not like light little things. It is a major transition that you're going through. And so if you don't have the exact clarity that you're looking for, don't despair is what I'm saying. Again, your ability to be diplomatic and see things from other perspective is your superpower in this particular instance. And even if you've been like completely wronged and you know that like this, how could they, how dare they, how can they do this to me? It's important to remember that you're still kind of running the show, right? You may be even binding people with your conviction and belief towards making certain decisions. Don't try to pass the buck here. Don't try to say that it's someone else's fault and that's why you're in this situation. And just to be clear, it could totally be objectively someone else's fault. It's just ultimately you want to take the responsibility for your own life. It's an empowering position to take. And when we give away that power and we kind of make that an external deity in our lives, that's when we lose control. That's when things tend to get very chaotic. We can't really get the wonderful insight and clarity that we would like to have on situations. We can end up feeling lost. We can start getting hopeless. We can feel despair. We may even get depressed. So just try to be aware that, like, you got this shit. Don't give away your power to someone else. If they've done something to wrong you, you will learn the lessons. And always try to remember this. Like, if someone does something fucked up to you, you can have gratitude that they showed you who they really were in that particular instance. Like, the worst thing that can happen is you don't learn about someone's true colors or how they really are until you're way too deep into the thing, right? That's the painful experience. So if there is a newish relationship, kind of feels like that, a newish relationship, just be grateful that you're seeing what's actually going on with these people in your life early enough that you didn't get sucked into something where you're like, oh my God, this is going to be such a traumatic and like hard situation for me to deal with. Okay. Cool. There's some stuff. All right. We'll pull some animal oracles. And spirit, time to collaborate. And this is what I was referring to also with the new connections. You very well may meet some people in the realm of work, career, projects that you're interested in doing. Could even be something recreational like yoga or just like some healing modality. But like, this is the time to like be working with other people, getting together, sharing ideas is a very auspicious and powerful time for you to be making those new connections, fostering new connections. Maybe if you've already made those connections this month or the previous month, it's really time to kind of further those. Like, it's a very auspicious month for you really continuing to work on those connections. It's going to be a powerful thing for you. Antelope spirit, life is speeding up. Right, and that was that 8 of Wands we had there. Things are going to be moving quickly in July for you, Libra, right? Especially when we consider Mercury is moving through your sign, the Sun is moving through your sign, and Venus. These are all relatively quick moving planets. We know Mercury retrogrades quite a bit, but it is a speedy. Hermes is the Greek deity associated with it. It is a very fast moving planet. Venus also is very quick, and the Sun moves through everything every 30 days or so. So there is going to be movement. There is going to be action. And that's also what we were referring to with that transition period with the 6 of Swords. Those transitions will take place pretty quickly. It's not going to be a slow moving drag. So that's the good news. Like, any obstacles, any distortions, any kind of stuff, it's going to be moving fast. So your ability to stay level-headed, remember to focus on the good things in life, that's going to serve you really well. You're not going to have to be stuck in these emotions that are maybe not comfortable for very long. So if you happen to be going through them, just remember it's a very short period of time that you're going to be experiencing them. There's a lot of movement in July for you, Libra. And so just try to get comfortable with that process because it'll make it a lot easier as you're moving through things. And finally, Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. A good month to remember to use all of your skills, all of your resources, everything that's around you to kind of use that as juice for your ability to create the life you want to be living. Don't overlook things. Don't say, oh, well, I don't need this anymore. It's also a good month to, like, maybe really be conscious of what it is that you're consuming, not necessarily physically just for your body, but like, what are you buying? Right? Venus rules you, so you may be a bit of a shopping person. You may like to accumulate things. Just try to be mindful of what it is. Far be it from me to ever tell someone not to buy stuff. I'm a firm believer that one of the ways we deal with lack mentality is by actually buying things and purchase things, whether we have the money or not, just because it gets us out of the mindset of feeling like we don't have. But just try to pay some attention to what it is that you are bringing into your reality, what physical, material things you're surrounding yourself with. It's never a bad idea to have some awareness of what that is, what those things are, and what that's adding to you energetically. Like, everything that we add to our being, physical, material, or otherwise, like, there's a price we pay for that, not just the financial price, but there's also an energetic price we pay for that. So try to be a little bit aware of what it is that you're bringing into your reality, and try not to be wasteful with anything. Like, try not to throw away those vegetables that you definitely were going to eat and then you didn't end up eating them and they're in your drawer and you're like, I got to throw this shit away. Like, just try to be mindful of what you're bringing in. And that also, just as like a grander meta view, that goes for emotional stuff too, and relationships. What are you adding into your life that maybe you're not harnessing or using, and you're kind of just letting it sit there and not do what it's supposed to do? Because that will weigh you down, right? The scales of justice will get weighed down a little bit if you're bringing things in and you're not really honoring them. So just try to be aware of consumption habits, especially during this month, because, you know, the lighter you are, the higher you can go, right? You're not tethered down to the ground by things that are maybe weighing you down, so to speak, okay? Let's pull an oracle from Nature's Whispers. Let love be your beacon. I mean, is there more of a Libra card than that? I don't think so. Venus rearing her head here. Love is ultimately, like, we know what love is, right? We know what unconditional love is. We know how that, at least in my metaphysical conception of the world, reality, it is the supportive and generative mechanism. So the more we can attune ourselves with feelings of love and really love ourselves, the more that will direct us towards the things that are actually important for us, right? Everyone has a dream of who they want to be and how they want to feel, and love is usually a part of that. So just allow yourself to kind of tune into that frequency as things are taking place, right? I mean, it is going to be one of these things where you want to align yourself as much as possible with the harmonious aspects of life, especially if you're going through transition periods that are a little bit challenging. That's one of the things. So take a look around you. Look at your loved ones. Look at people who support you, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's intimate partners, whether that's just coworkers. You're probably loved more than you know. One of the most important things, though, is you have to love yourself. You ultimately, no one will show you any true type of real love or affection until you love yourself fully and confidently. So if you've been struggling with that, if that's not been something that's easily attainable for you, this is a good month to really focus on that, right? Use your ability. You know how you can be diplomatic with other people and be fair towards other people? Please make sure you're being diplomatic and fair with yourself. If you think of the things that maybe you think about yourself when you kind of get into negative mindset or chatter, just think about saying that to another person. Would you ever do that? Would you ever say the things when you get down on yourself or you start engaging in negative kind of talk to yourself, self-talk? Would you ever say that to another person? Even like people you genuinely don't like, you probably wouldn't. So don't do it to yourself, right? Self-love here is a critically important thing for you to really embody. You, like I said, Venus rules Libra. That's Aphrodite. She's the goddess of love. You need to honor her and allow her to enter your life and really kind of guide your life. There are certain signs that, you know, love is important for everyone, but for Taurus and Libra, very, very important to honor the goddess of love, right? We can look back to the high priestess there and say, like, she's present. She's present. She's there, ready to bestow gifts and dreams and love and harmony into your life. But you have to really start with yourself if you want that to come to fruition in any aspect of your life, right? Okay. Let's do Threads of Fate. It is going to be like a nice month for you, Libra, but like I just, you know, there will be challenges too. Let's call a spade, right? Let's not pretend there's not going to be some things that are working on, but it's just really paramount that you remember it's for your own good. None of this is here to hold you back. None of this is to get you on the wrong track. It's all course corrective. It's all designed to really make you feel that you are absolutely in the right place at the right time with the right people. So know that if things are falling apart, if things are kind of like getting destroyed or not feeling right, it's for your benefit. That's why you're doing it to yourself, okay? All right. Doing a little Mr. Mackey today with the MKs. Reclaim. We're going to pull 3 and we'll talk about them. Surrender. Surrender to those transitions, Libra. Feel me? Oh, we got that one last time. Hold on. I think that just came up. Let's pull this. And withdraw. Okay. That feels very relationship focused too. So reclaim, right? This is your power. This is your innate ability to manifest, to sustain manifestations, to create the world you want to live in. And sometimes when we do that, we have to give it up. We have to let go. That can be relationships. It can be a job, but it's you ultimately know what this is talking about. You have to let those things go that are no longer serving you. More importantly, as you surrender, it is important to take some time to withdraw. See that cute little fox? He's just going into his little foxhole and just taking a little snooze. But it is very important. I'd say it's arguably the most important thing. When you know that something isn't working anymore, you have to let it go, right? And that's for your benefit, and that's for the other person's benefit. And this does kind of feel like a relationship. I won't say, listen, if you're in a happily devoted, committed relationship, this doesn't mean your relationship is ending. But for those of you who are in a relationship and it's kind of like on the rocks, and maybe you had that feeling deep down inside that it's time, it's just time, this is your sign that it is time. And withdrawing, and listen, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. It doesn't have to be something that like you never speak to this person again, you kick them out of your life and they're excommunicated, but it's time to take a step back. Okay? It's definitely time to take a step back. All of these transitions I've been speaking about, Libra, this is probably what it's getting at, right? Let go of a situation that's no longer serving you. Don't stay in something that is toxic. You have a desire to have things work out. You're the mediator. You want people to get together and feel love and commune with each other. And I understand that, and it's amazing and it's wonderful. But if you start to turn into a martyr to get that, that's not what love is. That's not the true meaning of love. It's actually the opposite. It's not helping anyone. It's especially not helping you. So those areas of your life where you know that it just is not working, it's not scratching that itch. It's probably past the point where it's not just working. It's probably actively harming the situation. And you have to let that shit go, right? You have to. And as you do that, like I said, take a step back. Take a step back. Don't allow yourself to re-engage with the situation. You won't find the harmony and peace of mind you're looking for by doing that. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to trim the fat, right? We're trying to cut the fat out here of situations that are no longer serving you. It's going to allow you to be lighter. The image I keep getting is like if you were floating up into the sky. You ever have the dream where you're like floating, right? And you're kind of like, ooh, you're bouncing up and down. Like you want to go up. You want to raise up. And there are emotional tethers that are keeping you weighed down, like a literal weight that's tied to your ankles that's holding you down. The only way to get through that is cutting those ties sometimes. And again, it doesn't have to be a drastic thing. You tell this person off, fuck you, I never want to see you again. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if you really want to go up the spiral, if you really want to elevate your consciousness, if you really want to be living the life of your dreams, and we know dreams are important for you, Libra, you gotta let some shit go, right? And you know exactly what that is too. You don't need me to spell it out specifically for you, but there clearly is at least one situation, potentially a few situations where it's time to go. It's time to surrender to it completely. And if you don't know what the surrendering process feels like, it's like a deep exhale. It's almost like a sigh. That's surrender. And it's one of the most powerful, cathartic things you can do as a person, as a human. Get familiar with it. It's incredibly powerful. So just to recap, Libra, you got a cool month coming for you. There's a lot of positive change. There's a lot of transitions taking place, but there maybe is also some obstacles that you need to kind of be aware of. And then as you're aware of them, drop them. Let it go, because that's going to set you up in the future for a much more positive experience in your life. You're going to allow all of those wonderful things to start flowing in. You have to create a vacuum sometimes for things to flow back in. If you're all filled to the brim with all this stuff all the time, there's no room. there's no room for anything new to come in. So sometimes we have to release and let go for positive energy to begin flowing back into our lives. And we know that's what you're about. You want that beauty. You want that love. You want that joy. You want that harmony. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you deserve it. You're entitled to it. And you will get it. Just remember the process of letting things go, dealing with obstacles and transitions like that. You will flow through this month quite well, quite confidently. And yeah, I think